get into content for the show today. A little bit of news for Illinois basketball, probably a bigger deal than a lot of the non-diehards think. Orlando Antigua, top assistant, big guy coach under Brad Underwood for Illinois basketball, got a pretty big deal from Kentucky, reportedly, to go be an assistant over there for Calipari. Obviously, it's not a head coaching job because Calipari is locked in for life in Lexington, but it is a really big deal. I'm pretty sure he was at Kentucky before he went around. He ended up being a head coach at South Florida. Didn't really work out. Now he's with Illinois. And Brad Underwood in Illinois really, really value him because he gets a lot out of big guys. He knows how to coach. His players like him. Last night, it seemed like he was for sure going, but now apparently Illinois made a counteroffer that would apparently make him the highest paid assistant coach in college basketball. It's like over $1 million a year for 4 years. Carson, have you heard anything else? What do you think about all this?
I haven't heard anything else, but just think about what you have to offer. I mean, it's Kentucky. I mean, that is the Alabama of like college basketball.
Well, hold on. There's no Alabama of college basketball. No team wins it every year.
Okay, fine. USC. It's got the name recognition and the brand that Illinois will just never be able to touch. And he also gets to reconnect with John Calipari. It's probably a better spot for him to launch his head coaching career again because he will be at Kentucky consistently competing for Elite Eights and Final Fours. I don't blame Antigua if he did leave. Like, it's a familiar place, and if they counter the offer, I'd probably take it too. If Chin left, that's like a symbol proving that Illinois will never be a blue blood.
So, for those that don't know, Chin Coleman, another top assistant. Okay, Illinois has three very, very, very good assistant coaches. Orlando Antigua, Chin Coleman, and Stephen Gentry, who just came in last year. And apparently two of them are getting looked at highly by Kentucky to leave. So what Carson's talking about, Chin Coleman, he's on like everyone thought last night that Antigua was a done deal, and then it was between two guys for the second spot, and one of those guys was Chin Coleman. He's more of like a guard coach, right? Carson doesn't really do anything with the big guys.
No, Antigua's the bigs.
I'm pretty
that's
sure
why I think Kofi's gone for sure now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chin Coleman's guard focused, and I'm with you on that, Carson, because Antigua, if he leaves, he goes to a top school, like you said, to try and launch a head coaching gig after learning from Underwood and Calipari. Chin Coleman's never going to be a head coach.
That's the thing. It would just be a slap in the face. Like, if you stay at Illinois, like, you are the assistant. Like, Brad's going to respect you. You're going to get a raise. You know, it's comfortable. You got job security. Like, what is leaving for Kentucky going to do for you, Chen? Like, you get to live in the South and get maybe get a few more titles. Like, he's not going to translate that into a head coaching job.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially since Illinois will pay. Like, I don't think money's the problem here. I just feel like, they kind of got the itch to go to a bigger program. And it just sucks because, like, we're trying to become kind of like a consistent contender. And it's like we have one good season and we lose our two assistants, not other head coaching jobs. They're just other assistant jobs at better schools.
On top of losing your two best players.
And we're going to lose Adam Miller. Miller's gone. He's probably going to go to Kentucky or LSU. You're going to lose Kofi Coburn. Io's gone. It's just, Brad's going to have to build it back again. And that's the thing.
It's just hard to think that Illinois worked this hard for so many years to get that one dream season, which ended up being nowhere near a dream season after losing in the round of 32 to Loyola. And like you said, Carson, you lose your two best assistants, your two best players.
Yeah.
Now what?
We're still going to be fine next year, regardless, because I think for the immediate impact, we're fine because we got a pretty good recruiting class. Brad's still there. Curbello's a superstar.
Got really lucky with Omar Payne coming.
Got really lucky with Omar. Like, Omar needs to stay. Like, we're going to be fine next year. We'll get a 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like the perception. Like, are we realistically going to become the next Michigan State?
So that's what Illinois is looking for, is to be a Michigan State, period. Maybe like a Florida. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, where you can consistently, like, all right, we win 26 games a year, make the Sweet 16, 3 out of 6 years.
Maybe a Final Four every decade.
Yeah, and you can't expect Final Fours. I mean, Final Fours, there's a reason why you get a banner for a Final Four.
Yeah.
Because it's so spectacular. But it's just like, Bill Self, comes in here, does great, gets plucked out. Lon Kruger gets plucked out. It's like we're a farm system. We're just one step below. That's why we need Brad to stay for 20 years or something and consistently win to build the respect.
But here's the thing. Brad's only in year 4, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that, even though this sucks right now, if everyone does leave and everything pans out for the worst, quote unquote, it's still okay because One, Brad knows how to hire assistants, kind of like it seems like Brett Bielema does. Brad knows how to hire assistants, and the dude can recruit. Now, obviously, you lose the Puerto Rican side, and we'll talk about what losing Antigua means in a second, but, like, I think Brad is the guy for us to have as a head coach in this situation.
And he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere, no.
Like, this would be the time for him to leave.
He's not.
No, he's not. Obviously, he's not. But, yeah, Chen, I'm pretty confident Chen's actually going to stay, though. I've been hearing different reports. It seemed like, you know how weird it would be for one program to take both of our assistants? Like, isn't that against bro code or something?
It's like totally alphaing the other program.
I wish Kentucky was better this year.
Same. It would make me feel better.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about what losing Orlando Antigua means, because there's two obvious things right up front.
Yeah.
You lose your head coach and big man who has gotten almost everything out of Kofi Cockburn and was expected to try and get everything out of Omar Payne. And then, two, you lose the Puerto Rican recruiting connection, which got you Andre Curbelo, Kofi Cockburn, who's not from Puerto Rico, but you know what I mean, RJ Melendez, now Alfonso Plummer. I don't think any of those guys are going to leave. I'd be shocked if they did.
Plummer's gone. No, he's going to stay.
He's going to stay. But at the same time, boom, you're not getting anyone else. Like, why would you with Antigua gone?
Like, what is Antigua, like, it's not the money, I don't think. I just honestly think it's better for his career. That's what he truly believes. And it's familiarity with the program.
And that's fine. Like I said, I'm not blaming Antigua if he goes at all. I'm saying it would stink for Illinois, especially because...
It'd be horrible. Because he's this nice young face, you know? He's only 48 years old.
He's only 48.
He brings energy, and you lose it. Like, who's a guy Illinois could get? How are we going to replace him? D. Brown, call him up from Chicago?
Roger Powell from Gonzaga.
I don't know if you leave Gonzaga. I feel like it's too good of a job.
Why not?
Well, first of all, Gonzaga consistently will win you 30 games.
They're in a know-nothing conference.
Yeah,
sure.
But they win their non-conference games. You know, they recruit as well as anybody in the nation, obviously. And also, I forget what his name was, but the guy, Arizona just hired a coach from Gonzaga, their assistant. So obviously, you can go from a West Conference coast school and go to a Pac-12 school. I mean, Arizona is arguably a top 6 job in the nation. So if Roger Powell's thinking about another career, I don't know if it's really worth it. And also working for Mark Few, one of the best coaches in the nation.
So you have winning, you have Mark Few, you have now Chet Holmgren or whatever his name is coming in.
7-1. I mean, dude, Gonzaga's going to start 32-0 probably again next year and lose the national title. But, like,
they will.
That program's just not going anywhere. And why would you leave that to kind of like go to a basketball program, with all due respect, hasn't made the Sweet 16 since 2005. You know, your alma mater only has so much power.
That's true, but one, it is his alma mater. Two, he loves Illinois. And three, Illinois, some people would still say, is on the rise.
It's on the rise.
They're back on the map, baby.
Okay, but Josh. Listen to me. No, the thing is, Gonzaga is a 10 out of 10.
I know, they just got
It's a dime. It's a smoke show. Illinois is kind of like the cute girl that's like, you know, she's a 7 and she has a great personality. Yeah.
Carson, shut up.
I'm just saying, why would you leave? Why would you leave J-Lo, you know, and go to Illinois? It's just not worth it.
Well, one, you're awful. I'd like to say that. But two, Gonzaga and Illinois are very different. Yes, I'm just saying it is his alma mater.
It is. I think
if we offered him a bag to come to his alma mater?
You don't think Mark Few's going to cough up the money? Where would you rather live? Spokane, Washington, where there's beautiful scenery and mountains, or you want to live in Urbana-Champaign? Like, you know,
it's like when Max Kellerman goes, I'll take Iguodala.
Give me Iguodala. No, I think realistically, let's pluck D. Brown. Young guy, went to Illinois.
Isn't he a head coach?
No. Oh. Is he not? No, I think he's assistant at UIC.
Don't get him right now, especially if Chin leaves. Right now.
Exactly. And he's not going to leave for another assistant job. Like, he's not going to get an offer like, hey, you want to go to North Carolina and be my assistant? He will stay at Illinois because we got him young enough, you know? He would only leave for a head coaching job. I'd get D. Brown, 100%.
Yeah, I just want a big guy's coach. I want someone to develop Payne. I'm really worried about Payne's development, especially if Antigua
I'm scared because this program, before Kofi Cockburn, even with Io, won 10 games. I mean, Kofi Cockburn changed this program. by the way
did.
he was able to dominate
Especially in the Big
size.
Ten, which is a big guy dominant league.
Exactly.
It's scary.
You've seen Moneyball. I mean, like, we're losing 18 points a game next year from Kofi, another 20 from Io. It's like, okay, yeah, we got really good guards, but who's going to replace that 18 points down low?
If I had a dime for every time you mention Moneyball in this show.
It's the greatest movie ever. But you
have a point. What are you replacing it with?
We're replacing it with, what, 7 points a game from Omar? Like, we're going to need Trent Frazier. You got to bump that score up from 8 points a game to 12 points a game. Plummer's going to have to be an alpha male next year. Probably score 16 points a game. I think I trust Curbelo as a scorer. I do.
See, here's the thing. Everything that we've had to replace so far, honestly, Brad's done a good job with. Like, yes, you're never going to replace Kofi with something great, but Omar Payne is good and respectable.
The presence down low, yeah.
Miller, Plummer, boom, there.
Dude, that is fine. Dude, Miller.
That is totally fine.
Miller was going to leave after his sophomore year, probably regardless.
Yeah, Io, you have Melendez coming, Goody coming. Now you have a bunch of 2022 guys. That's fine. Brandon, exactly. Yeah. You have a bunch of guys. So, honestly, the replacements have been totally fine.
On the guard, it's been fine.
It's
like
the coaches now.
The only thing we haven't replaced is Kofi scoring. We got the Kofi defensive presence. Maybe not as well. I don't know enough about Omar, to be honest.
I think better. Kofi didn't always play the best defense. Well, he did this year. Last year was just
He got burned by Krutwick.
I know.
I will say that.
Yeah.
40-year-old.
Payne is athletic, man.
I think Payne's gonna be good.
If Orlando's Antigua stays, he'll be very good.
He's
if he
not
doesn't,
staying.
He'll be all right.
He's not staying.
You don't know that, Carson.
Okay, I'll ask you this: Would you rather be a United States senator and only make $400,000, or be a stockbroker and make $2 million?
$2 million?
$2 million or $400,000. But the senator kind of gives you the star power, like, hey, I'm a United States senator. That's what Kentucky gives you.
Yeah.
It's something that Illinois can never give Orlando. And also, he gets to learn under one of the best coaches in college basketball in the past quarter century, John Calipari.
He's a great coach.
It's unfortunate. Like, this would never happen if he didn't coach previously under Calipari. But it just the stars have aligned for Orlando.
Such a weird situation. Such an unfortunate situation.
It is. I guess in one way it's a compliment, because you're saying, like, hey, like, you hire pretty good coaches. This program's been turned around. We want a piece of that pie. At the same time, it's disappointing because, like, we take a step forward and then we take 2 steps back. And we can't break through. We can't break that glass ceiling.
Did you hear about Orlando Antigua's, like, Twitter bio?
What did he say? Did he delete us off
No, he
Twitter?
put coordinates in his bio, and it's Lexington, Kentucky. This was last night.
So he's a douche. What is he doing? Why? He's gone. Okay, it's official. He's gone.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Unless
he for some reason
cruel.
Takes this offer, and you're saying that it's never gonna happen.
Kentucky pays Calipari $8 million a year. Are they really not going to cough up the money for Calipari's hand-picked assistant? An extra couple $100,000.
If they lose Chin Coleman, they're going to be all right. If they lose Orlando Antigua next year, might not go as well because Payne won't be as good. Yeah. And Orlando Antigua brings energy too. Like, whenever they're in the timeouts, like, he has the clipboard ready. He really cares. He cares about Illinois.
I think he does too.
How long has he been in Illinois for?
He's been here since the beginning. He's been here since 17. So he
coached LaRon Black.
So he's seen the program, back-to-back losing seasons. Like, he's experienced everything with Brad.
That's awesome. He goes to South Florida, doesn't work out. Brad's like, I love you. Let's bring you here. It totally works out. Now, bam, just goes to Kentucky. Orlando Antigua can be a head coach, and he can be a good head coach. I just really want him to stay.
I want him to stay too, but, because in all seriousness, like, if, say, Brad left in 7 years and we're still doing really well, you could probably just promote Orlando.
You could.
I'm not going to judge him based on South Florida. I mean, that is such a bad job.
It's a terrible
and he just
job.
wasn't ready.
He thought, South Florida, you have one, that's a very poorly named school, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know where South Florida is?
Tampa.
Yeah, it's in Central Florida.
They play. I don't know their basketball stadium, but I know they play at the Buck Stadium for football.
Anyways, he thought he had like the Puerto Rican and like Cuban connection down there, especially like the Miami kids. That didn't work out, and for the ones he did, they didn't pan out. Like, it's just an unfortunate situation for him.
It's not a Power 5 school. I mean, it's just not a good school.
To make a little connection to to football. If Illinois football starts winning games in 3-4 years, like the basketball team did, which I expect them to, by
Ryan
the way,
Walters is gone.
we're going to have the exact same conversation.
Yeah.
About Ryan Walters, Bart Miller, Kevin Kane, someone I really like, George McDonald at the receivers. Like, all these guys have potential. Not Andy Boo, he's too old.
No, yeah. And Bielema, he's not going anywhere. I can't imagine him leaving for another program.
Going to stay here.
He's got nowhere to go.
He's Brad. He's not. I'm not worried.
No, I know, because he is kind of old news. No, I'm kidding. But he's going to be good. Brett's good. But yeah, we could easily lose Ryan Walters. Like, imagine, like, all of a sudden we hold teams to 18 points a game at Illinois. I mean,
win like a Big Ten West title.
He's getting plucked as a defensive coordinator at a bigger school, or he's going to like Cincinnati to become the head coach.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm willing to take that chance with football.
Oh, I'm more than happy with where we're at in football. Now, talk to me in 4 or 5 years when we're losing every good assistant. Maybe I'll be as upset as I am right now about Antigua leaving, but football we can't talk about until they actually make another bowl game at the minimum.
Watch out this year.
They're not making a bowl game this year, dude.
I'll bet you a lot of money.
You still owe me dinner.
Yeah.
All right. On that, we're going to take a break because when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about football and the QB battle going on right now between Isaiah Williams and Brandon Peters. That is next on Illini Drive. Welcome back to Illini Drive. It's Josh and Carson here on Thursday evening. Transitioning now from basketball over to football, Illinois had their spring game on Monday night, orange versus blue, a.k.a. starters versus the backups. It was a blowout, obviously, 65-15. The only blue points came on this weird field goal thing that they did for each team at the end of the quarter. Kind of weird. I don't know. Point is, the starters did what they were supposed to. But the QBs didn't stay the same the whole time. So Brandon Peters, as expected, based on how Tony Peterson, the new offensive coordinator, had been talking about him, started for the orange team with Isaiah starting on the blue team. And then at halftime, Brandon was done, and Isaiah came in for about a quarter-ish and actually played pretty well. He probably had the throw of the day, honestly, to Donnie Navarro, open in the middle of the field in the third quarter, and then he got pulled in for that 8-minute running clock fourth quarter. Saw a little bit of Karan Taylor, a little bit of Deuce Spann, didn't really matter. Carson, you were at the game as well. You watched the game. What did you see out of Brandon? What did you see out of Isaiah?
Peters looked super confident, and he had some zip on the ball. Granted, he wasn't facing the best competition, but it was just nice to see Brandon actually throw it to his wide receivers, not ground the ball. And he didn't really have a huge running game that was like supporting him. You know what I mean? Like he was just throwing it back there. It's not like they were like wide open because they were expecting the run. With Isaiah, it's difficult to judge because with that kind of scrimmage, you're not able to see his scrambling abilities.
Yeah.
Because you get tapped and they're like, oh, he's down. But who knows? He probably could have broken that tackle.
It wasn't even tapped. It was like right next to him.
Yeah.
They called it.
And there was a couple times like, okay, he probably would have been sacked, but it's not the real show. So I will say this. I just feel more comfortable about our quarterback position. I'm not going to declare a winner. I know Peters is the front runner, but it's way too early to call out Isaiah.
I mean, the spring game literally means nothing. Like, no. You're going against no defense on one side, all the defense on the other. Isaiah had no line and no receivers to throw to when he was on the blue team. But at the same time, with Brandon on the orange team, you can't teach that accuracy, and he was really accurate. Yeah. He was 12 for 18 with 1 or 2 passes that were dropped, and then 3 or 4 missed passes. Like, you're never going to rip on someone for that.
And I felt like he did a good job of facilitating.
For sure.
Like, better than, last year. Because last year, sometimes he would target Josh Marnabebe, or,
He's the only person he threw to.
So it was good to see him spread the ball around. I thought Luke Ford made a great catch. That's very exciting. Like, we got great tight ends.
Luke Ford liked my tweet today.
Did he really?
Yeah, he liked my tweet today.
That's
and
awesome.
His parents were liking and retweeting my tweets all night.
What'd you write about?
So he tweeted something. Have you ever watched the show Blue Mountain State?
I know of it, yeah.
With Coach Marty Daniels. Luke Ford tweeted here. I'm actually just going to pull up the tweet. He said, breaking 6-time national champion and head coach at Blue Mountain State says he's rooting for the Fighting Illini this year, and it's a coach of Marty Daniels, whoever that. So that's a fictional show, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know. But it's like show a lot of guys watch. It's a football show, and he's like, "Go Goats" and Fighting Illini. So I quote tweeted and said, "If Coach Marty Daniels is on board, everyone should be." And Luke Ford gave me a like.
There you go.
So I was happy about that. But anyways, on that note, Luke Ford was awesome, and the fact that Lovie Smith and Rod Smith didn't use him properly last year bothers me so much.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and I love Barker. I mean, Barker, I'm not kidding.
He's great.
He's been my favorite player since freshman year because it just seemed like he just was there to make that catch. He made the catches against Michigan State in our 28-3 comeback. He's just a very reliable, big target. So and Brett, you know he's going to use the tight ends. I mean, that's what they did at Wisconsin. And I'm very excited about Chase Brown. He's going to get he could get 1,500 yards on the ground this year. The thing is, with our line, can we keep defenses honest?
Yes, our offensive line is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because you had Blake Gerard, so it's definitely going to be Palcho at left tackle, Doug Kramer at center, and Verdarian Lowe at the left tackle, Alex Palczewski at right tackle, then probably Blake Gerosity at left guard, and then maybe Julian Pearl or Verdus Brown or Alex Pihlstrom at right guard, all of which I feel very good about. Yeah. The offensive line is going to be awesome. I anticipate Brandon Peters or Isaiah gets a lot of time, or a decent amount of time at the minimum to throw.
I do feel like our ceiling is higher if Peters performs well.
True.
Like, I would take a great Peters over a great Isaiah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Isaiah
can be Lamar Jackson.
I don't think he can throw as well as Peters. I mean, I'm serious. Like,
Isaiah had the throw of the night, Carson.
Consistently, though, like, if I'll say this. Like, if we're guaranteed to get 225 yards on the ground a game, our tight ends are efficient. Like, I trust Peters being a pretty good game manager and keeping defenses honest. But with Isaiah, I mean, he's able to make something out of nothing and scramble around. But with Brett's ideology, how he wants to play, Peters is the guy on paper.
Especially with Tony Peterson, too, who always has that Brandon Peters-looking quarterback like he did at
Jeff Driscoll, Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington at Marshall, and then LA Tech. That was an awesome offense, which is actually pretty comparable to our offense now, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that in a little bit. But, yeah, I think that what if they did a little bit of like an air raid offense like Mike Leach, just consistent 7-8 yard throws to like slot guys like Donnie Navarro and tight ends like Barker and Ford?
I feel like we'll have too much of an emphasis on the running game. That's just not in Brett's DNA.
That's true. Like, except for Brett loves his running backs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Chase Brown will be getting carries, and I think he should.
What about Chase Hayden and Reggie Love? They were also really good.
Reggie, we didn't really get to see action last year. Pretty talented guy. Like, I like the offense. I'm kind of worried about the defense.
Okay. The defense is very, very worrisome.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to be kind of a clock-controlling, super efficient offense. Like, we can just score 28 points, 30 points a game and just kind of keep our defense off the field as much as possible.
Well, I think the D-line's going to be okay. The linebacker group is going to be good, but our DBs are bad.
Yeah, they'll get gashed.
Because you have Weatherspoon, who's good. Tony Adams is inconsistent. Sidney Brown is super inconsistent. Derek Smith isn't going to give you anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's Marquez Beeson isn't even a DB anymore. Like, your highest recruit under Lovey besides Isaiah switched positions to receiver, and he's not going to do anything at receiver.
You got to get pressure on the quarterback.
You really do.
That helps the corners so much.
Dude, but Ryan Walters running this 3-4 multiple instead of like a stereotypical defense. By the way, thank God the Tampa 2's gone.
You rather 4-3 though?
Huh?
Would you rather run 3-4 or 4-3?
See, this 3-4 multiple is kind of a mix of the two. It's weird. Yeah. But anyways, like these position changes, when you have like Owen Carney and Isaiah Gay and Seth Coleman even switching to outside linebacker with Rod Perry still on the line, like, and who else? I don't know. Someone else still on the line. Like, that's good. Mm-hmm. That can really get your pressure on the quarterback with those OLB moves because that's like a Khalil Mack type of defense, like a run through, which is good. And then Jake Hansen, we know, has a lot of talent too. So
I love Hansen. That is so clutch that he came back.
The fact that he stayed, he's such a good guy.
That was awesome. I mean, I thought he was long gone. I thought he was going to try to go to the NFL. I don't know if he would have got signed. I don't know if he would have got drafted, but he would have got signed. Lovey loved him. I mean, they thought he would have been a spectacular NFL linebacker.
Lovey probably would have told us he would have been like a first-round draft pick or something.
Yeah, for sure, man.
maybe he would have. Wouldn't it be
Get signed by the Texans,
exactly.
like an undrafted free agent.
See, I wonder what Jake Hansen heard from the NFL scouts, because there's obviously a reason he came back. And
I don't know,
man.
Maybe battling injuries.
Maybe scouts told him, like, you're going to be with a real head coach and a real defensive coordinator now that isn't Lovie Smith. You go and you perform. You can be a 5th or 6th round pick instead of a signed or late 7th round pick.
He was a very good tackler last year.
He was great.
He got a lot better.
He was a great tackler on an awful tackling team.
Punches the ball out. My favorite defensive player. That's too easy, but like he is. I always love like that mean, aggressive linebacker.
He's awesome. There's no denying that.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. I think like it's shaping up. Nebraska, we got him home.
That game is going to be so telling, man.
That's gonna be huge. Like if like Martinez runs around and makes us look like idiots and stuff, and we lose, that'd be a big bummer. At Virginia, that's a tough game. That's probably a loss, but I know a pretty manageable schedule for the first 6 games.
So I know we do this so often with basketball and football. Let's go through the schedule.
Okay.
Let's see what we think and kind of predict our records here. Versus Nebraska at home. Start the season, week 0.
Give me the win.
Game day.
Give me the win. Corso puts on the Nebraska like helmet, but I think we pull that one out.
All right, so you're calling Nebraska win. We're going to beat Texas San Antonio.
Yep.
I say they lose at Virginia.
I do too.
I say they win against Maryland.
With it depends.
Tagovailoa's brother, the other Tagovailoa.
It depends. Like Maryland was a very streaky team last year.
They were.
They dominated Penn State. I forget their other one. They had 2 really, really good wins.
Didn't they beat Northwestern?
No.
Or did they get they got
violated.
52-3. Yes.
They got violated by Northwestern. That was like the only game Northwestern could score.
Yeah.
I mean, and they got dominated. But Maryland, like the potential is there. So that
it's a home game, man.
I know, but all right, fine. Give us
let's give it a loss. Let's be no.
Well, if we're giving it a loss, okay, if we can't beat Maryland at home, are we gonna beat Purdue on the road?
No.
All right.
So there you go. You're 2-2.
Charlotte win.
3-2 versus Wisconsin.
Win.
No way
Lock.
you win that game.
Brett's not losing to Wisconsin.
3-3 at Penn State. 3-4. Rutgers. I'm going to say that's a win.
Okay, I'll say 4-4, but we could lose that game.
So
Rutgers was the most. I would have given Greg Schiavone Coach of the Year in the Big Ten last year. Schiavone.
We beat them at their place.
I know we did, and because we had Isaiah run for 200 yards.
Because we ran the triple option and it worked.
And it barely worked. I mean,
didn't barely work.
We lose that game, we go 0-9 because we're not beating Nebraska the next week. But regardless, like Rutgers is an improved team. They didn't really get blown out last year. They played really well, really good football last year. But okay, win. We don't lose to Rutgers. We play them every year.
Then you go 4-8. You don't beat at Minnesota. You don't win at Iowa, and God knows you're not beating Northwestern.
Northwestern's different though. I mean, this isn't Lovey.
Doesn't matter.
You don't think so? There's no chance. Northwestern is going to be good. All right, so we go 4-8.
Okay, and then
but the 2 wins we had them lose to Maryland and we had them lose to Purdue
and Wisconsin and
Virginia.
Northwestern. 6 is possible.
What I'm saying is the 3 wins that are winnable. We have them losing 3 in a row. We have them starting 2-0 and then going 2-3. You know, Virginia, Maryland, Purdue.
Yeah,
you can win one of those games. One out of those 3, I'm going to say that they'll win 1.
All right,
and then you got to pick one off at the end.
Let's talk about a ceiling here. Let's say best case scenario.
Okay.
So let's go through.
All right.
Beat Nebraska.
Win.
Beat Texas.
No. Yes.
Texas, San Antonio. I say you can beat Virginia if you're at your peak. You beat Maryland.
Beat Purdue.
You beat Purdue. You beat Charlotte. You're
game day against Wisconsin.
No.
If we're 6-0.
Fine. 7-0.
No. I'm not saying we beat Wisconsin. I'm saying if we actually started 6-0,
yes, College
game day would be here. Imagine the storyline.
All right, let's be a little generous then. A loss to Wisconsin and a loss to Penn State. You're 6-2, followed by a win to Rutgers, 7-2. Lost at Minnesota, lost at Iowa, beat Northwestern. Your ceiling's 8-4.
I would actually give us Minnesota over Northwestern because I think Tanner Morgan struggles. They lost Rashad Bateman. I'd give us Minnesota before Northwestern. Northwestern's going to be very efficient defensively.
I think they might come into Memorial and feel intimidated.
There's going to be like 2 fans at that game.
Can we agree that the ceiling is 8-4?
7-5.
We just what?
What'd you give us?
6-0 plus Rutgers and Northwestern.
All right, fine. 8-4. 8-4. And 9-4 because we'll beat Florida in the Outback Bowl.
I'd say the floor is 2-10. Charlotte and San Antonio. Yeah.
I guess worst case.
2-0.
Okay, that's pretty dire. I'd say
it's not going to happen, but I'm saying.
I think 4-8. I don't know what's too. I'm just saying I can't imagine Brett Bielema going worse than 4-8. There's too much talent on this team. There
Talking
is.
about a floor. Where's the talent on?
Where's the offensively?
You have no receivers. Actually, that's not true. Hightower's good.
I think Hightower's going to break
Ford's
out
good.
this
Barker's good. Who's the number 11? We haven't seen much of him. What the heck is his name? Oh man, it's going to bother me. Hold on, I have to pull this up. He played well. He was his first completion on the day. Here we go. It is Carlos Sandy, 5'9" kid. Him as a slot receiver, I like it a lot.
Florida guy.
Yeah. The receiver, okay, your offense is going to be fine.
It's
but
the defense.
If your DBs
and our special
can't
teams,
cover anyone,
our special teams are going to have to come up clutch this year. I mean,
McCourt's okay, but you have the best special teams, you baby. Blake Hayes, best punter in the nation.
If we get Blake Hayes, pinning offenses, at the 6-yard line, and they got to go the full field. I mean, that'd help a defense so much.
It would. I wonder. See, they're not going to do the emphasis on turnovers, but I like that because you can't rely on turnovers.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
No, there's no more Tampa 2. Goodbye, Lovey.
I'm so sick. I remember interviewing Lovey's son, who's just the biggest wingman for his dad, and he's like, "Well, we actually we don't count on turnovers. Like we make them happen." I'm like,
"What's his name? Like Miles Smith or something?"
Yeah, Miles. Like he's a clown. I mean,
he's on the Texans team.
Yeah, nepotism much. I wish my dad was an NFL coach.
Yeah, me too.
It's ridiculous.
Be hired by the Packers or whoever he worked for.
Miles never. I don't think he ever played football.
Yeah, there he is, Miles Smith. I wonder what his other kids do, Lovey.
One's in jail.
All right.
We won't talk about that, but
which one?
I forget his name.
Mikal or Matthew?
I don't know which one.
It's Mikal.
Yeah, Mikal's in trouble.
Yes, he's in big trouble.
You have all the money in the world with your dad.
It's like Michael Jordan's kids.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. I mean, everybody likes to say "Oh, well, you make all this money. How could you have problems?"
No,
everything's relative.
Yeah.
Everything changes. You have more money. You try to compete with people that have more money than you. It's nuts.
Dude, I don't know. I can see them going into beating Nebraska, beating San Antonio, and then going into Virginia and stomping them. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I would probably put my hand on to lose, but that could happen. Was Virginia any good last year?
Okay, so 2 years ago they made the Orange Bowl.
I remember that.
And Bronco Mendenhall is a great coach, but I'm not too knowledgeable about their football program, if we're being completely honest.
Let's check out.
They were pretty decent last year. I think they were competing for a bowl game. They went 5-5 last year.
Who'd they beat? Who'd they lose?
They beat North Carolina.
Who stinks? Oh,
North Carolina.
They were good. They beat A&M.
That was the Orange Bowl team. They won. They won a shootout. They put up points last year. 43 points against Boston College. Where's Clemson?
Yeah, that NC State loss isn't good. Now there's the Wake Forest one.
NC State went 8-4.
Good.
They're fine. Virginia's a very competitive program. I mean, that is impressive. If you can go into Charlottesville and win the third game.
They probably will.
I think it'd be a competitive game. I could see Illinois kind of blowing it. They lose 28-23.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world if we lose to Virginia.
Hey, if that 2019-2020 team made a bowl game, this team could make a bowl game.
That 2019 team was fun.
They were fun.
I
can't believe it happened under.
We were 6-4. I was like, dude, we're going 8-5, guaranteed. We still got Northwestern on the dock. I'm just giving us a bowl game.
Oh, they should have beaten Northwestern. Low-key, 19-10 against Iowa. I don't know, guys.
We could have beat Iowa. That was
won that game.
That was blown with clock management.
It was. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It could have been.
And Brandon going kabam.
It could have been 10-7, 10-10 at halftime. So it's 13-7. And then Peters was kind of fumbleitis that game.
He did. He was nervous.
It's
hard playing at Iowa.
It was weird.
Your fans are. You know how that works with Iowa. The visiting sideline. The fans are right above you, dude. It's weird. It's hard to play. I have a couple buddies that go to Iowa. They say it's crazy there.
Iowa I was so hard to win there. I mean, they ruined so many dream seasons.
Yep.
Minnesota 2 years ago.
Do you remember when Michigan lost on the field goal there?
Of course.
I was 14, in Iowa
13.
City visiting my sister, and we were going to go to the game, but it was too cold. My dad and I were just like, no, let's not do it.
You should have gone.
I definitely should have gone. I remember watching on TV. I turned to my dad. I'm like, damn.
They cost the Big Ten 2 playoff spots that game. That's what they do. Iowa just ruins the Big Ten.
They beat Minnesota during their dream season.
Michigan State in 2010. Michigan State was undefeated. They won 37-6. Beat Ohio State. Kept the Big Ten out of the playoff. Iowa
sucks.
If we had Iowa's football program, my Lord.
Because you get your big wins and you finish the season every year ranked 20th and then go beat USC in a bowl game.
Yeah, they're going to go 10-3.
Illinois could be in Iowa, Carson.
No, we can't.
They could be in 5 or 10 years.
Here's the thing.
A different version of Iowa.
Iowa was horrible before Hayden Fry, but they got lucky. It's kind of like the Barry Alvarez.
You have to get lucky, though.
And who's going to be that young coach who stays here, for 25 years and takes us to the next place? Kirk Ferentz is a great coach, but it's not like he inherited like an empty program. I mean,
True.
He inherited a program that made 3 Rose Bowls under Hayden Fry.
Yeah.
He's able to sustain it, but we need our Hayden Fry.
Kirk Ferentz also gets the most out of his 3-star athletes every single freaking year.
Well, they know what they want to run, and they have a system.
He turns these like 3-star guys into NFL draft picks.
Yeah. The trenches is huge.
Yeah.
He always has a good defense, and they're going to go 9-3. I would love to have that program. I would not want to have their basketball program, though. If Illinois topped out at Iowa's program at basketball, I'd be very disappointed.
I'd be disappointed too, especially because Fran doesn't coach any defense, and I can't root for a program.
I love that Fran just got a huge contract extension.
It's like Jim Harbaugh getting an extension for Ohio State, Michigan. I love this as an Illinois fan.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. We're going to take a break there. Long talks about football. We're going to have a lot of those up until August 28th and through, hopefully, last week of December. They make
January 10th against Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Marty Daniels, if he's in,
Give
everyone's
me
in.
Bama.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, a little bit of baseball talk, which is like what Carson and I like to do. That is next on Illini Drive. Welcome back to Illini Drive. Got about 10-15 minutes left here, and we're going to use that time to talk about some baseball. Usually we start with the Cubs and Sox. I guess we'll do that again. Carson, what are your Sox, like 500 right now or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if I've been on here since the no-hitter.
You have not.
That is the most anticlimactic no-hitter in the history of baseball.
No, it's absolutely not, by the way. How about when Scherzer had 2 outs in the 9th a couple of years ago against the Pirates? He leaned into the pitch and got hit, and no one called it. And it was very controversial, but yours is probably the second.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I remember I was out and about. I was like watching it at I was at a bar. I was watching it. We're all excited, like, hey, we're going to get a perfect game. And it just like nips his toe. Yeah. And then like, congrats, you got a no-hitter. There's been like 300 of them. There's been like 27 perfect games. I've been to a no-hitter. You
have?
I went to Cole Hamels no-hitter.
Against the Cubs.
And my friend's dad, with 8th inning, 1 out, he's like, we're getting the hell out of here. I'm like, are you nuts? Are you that crazy?
Because he thought the Cubs were going to lose and break up the no-hitter.
No, he was mad that the Cubs were getting no hit. He was rooting for a hit. I mean, like, if you can see a no-hitter in person, you got it.
No, not against your own team, man.
Are you a psychopath? It's July. You're down 5-0. You're going to give up a no-hitter for a single base hit?
Yeah.
No, you're nuts. But, yeah.
Dude, imagine your own team getting no hit, and you're at the game.
It happens.
No, it doesn't.
Most people there were rooting for Cole Hamels, by the way.
All right,
but Rodon's finally starting to show some potential. He's never had.
He's good, man.
He was the number 3 pick overall from NC State
2014.
in 20. That's what I'm saying. But like, he has the potential. But injuries have been really poor. It's really affected him. It was his 100th career start or appearance when he threw his no-hitter, and he's been in the league for 7 seasons. He just has not been on the field enough. But he had another. It was a weird performance, his latest game against the Indians, because he had 5 walks in 5 innings, and they still won. Yeah. It was a lot of no harm, no foul with Rodon, but he's got the stuff. I love the Sox pitching staff, and that's going to keep him in it this year.
And you guys just got to walk more. I've said it.
Yeah.
The defense will pick up. That should happen. But, man, you guys just got to get on base more. Like, I know Monty Grandal does it, but he doesn't hit anything. His batting average is in like the 100.
We should have kept James McCann.
He's awesome. He's catching right now for the Mets against the Cubs.
Yeah, McCann, he's going to bat 285. He's got a good glove. He was Giolito's guy. Grandal, we got the money. It's the sunken cost kind of thing.
You don't mess with backup catchers in the MLB. Cubs don't have one now after Caratini went to the Padres. It stinks. It's like backup quarterbacks in the NFL. You don't mess around with them.
I know, but the thing, McCann just would have been probably too expensive to keep.
Yeah, and that's fair. It was time for him to go.
Anyways. In a perfect world, like I would honestly replace him with Grandal. Grandel's fine, but McCann, I feel like that was a gem that we gave up. Other than that, the Sox, I mean, it's been frustrating in the sense that they can't break over 500, but they got a series with the Rangers. You got 3 games, win 2 out of 3, worst case scenario.
The Sox are 9-9. You've got a bunch of people go on the IL, DL.
And Minnesota's been really bad, which has been very nice for the White Sox because this
They're going to get better though.
This could have been they could, but this could have been a stretch where say Minnesota's already up 4 games.
Yeah,
it's been nice that the second most talented team in the division has been playing horrible.
Well, you're 9-9 and you're second in the division. That's very
just
lucky.
A game and a half out of Kansas City. I mean, the Sox are in a good position.
Are the Royals still winning the division?
The Royals are up a game and a half.
Wow.
They're 10-7, and they get to play the Tigers for a series.
Are the Royals good?
No,
they're not.
I think they're fine. I mean, I remember the White Sox in 2017 when Quintana was their best player. It started 15-12. They were first place, and then they lost 95 games.
The year before, 25, and they're 21-8 or something.
Oh, 2016. I thought I was going to get a Cubs-Sox World Series.
Okay.
Dude,
finished 4th in the division.
At the time when they were 23-10, and oh my God, we just traded for James Shields. We traded this random guy, Fernando
Tatis.
Who's he? Get rid of him.
God. I remember in the Crosstown Classic that year, James Shields killed the Cubs.
Did he actually?
It was on a Sunday, and you guys were wearing those ugly, ugly uniforms.
I don't like those either, dude.
I hate them. Every Sox fan that
People
I say
love
that to
them.
hates me. I hate them.
It's so cheesy, so 1980s. I think the Sox have a really good history with uniforms. I mean, the Sox used to change uniforms more than anybody. They said the bowling uniforms in the 1970s, 1959, they were really nice uniforms. But they loved the 1984, 1983 jerseys.
I guess. All right, we're going to move here away from the Sox
Chicago
and start
Cubs.
talking about the Cubs. The Cubs are up to 8-9, third in the NL Central. Could be worse. Were you here when I ranted about the batting averages last time?
Yes, I did. I was here.
They're doing, and you told me that would pick up, and unfortunately, you were right. Well, fortunately, I guess, but unfortunately for me as an analyst. Wilson Contreras is now hitting 269. Chris Bryant right behind him at 268. Matt Duffy hasn't played much. He's at 267. Rizzo's up from 116 to 246. Bodie 205. Baez is at 203. He should be higher than that. Hayward 200. Sogard and Marisnik, who don't play a ton, 200. Happ still hitting 167. That sucks. And Jock Peterson stinks at 137. He just went on the IL. But they won a good game couple days ago against the Mets. Yesterday they smacked them, and today they're going for the sweep with Trevor Williams on the mound, who apparently really likes pitching at Wrigley.
They have the 30th highest batting average, and they have the 25th worst ERA.
So they're
almost 500.
So they're the worst hitting team in the league.
And their ERA is 25th.
Yeah,
it's 4.68. And
how's that possible?
Margin of victory can sometimes kind of sway things because when you beat the Mets by 12, I mean, or you lose by 9 to the Braves, it just kind of throws things into whack. And dude, if they win today, they're 500. Yeah. I mean,
after all that,
that's what I'm saying.
You get your hitting to heat up and the pitching stays all right, you're going to stay around 500, which is I'd have rather them be really bad than mediocre.
Everybody in the Central is just the same. I'm looking at the division standings. Everybody's within 3 games. I mean, the Cubs are technically a half a game away from last place, because the Cardinals are right up there. You know, they're 8-10, and I think the Cardinals are going to start winning.
The Brewers are the best team in the division.
They are.
Corbin Burns, he's the best pitcher in the league right now.
Corbin Burns is good.
It's not even close. And then you have Woodruff too, who's another ace. You have 2 aces on your team.
Dude,
who?
The Brewers' highest batting average is Travis Shaw at 226.
Their pitching's insane, man.
Their pitching
and their bullpen. They have Williams, who won reliever of the year and rookie of the year, something like that, and Josh Hader.
The number one correlation in baseball in championships is ERA, 100%.
Well, I'd argue on base and defensive efficiency would be up there too.
It is. No, but ERA, I mean, like if you're keeping teams, if you're holding teams to 2 runs a game, like you're gonna win.
Well, look at the Cubs in 2016. Hendricks led the league in ERA at 2.16, and then Lester, and I will say this confidently, should have won the Cy Young with his 2.56
Which
ERA
year?
or
16.
whatever. He should have won the Cy Young. He lost it to Scherzer, who was ERA in the 3s, and he had more strikeouts. That was it. That was ridiculous. That's the year that Verlander lost it to Rick
Even
Porcello.
though he had more first place votes by like 6.
Who? Verlander?
Verlander had 14 first place votes. I think Porcel had 6.
A lot of people, the majority of people, had their winners as Verlander and Lester, and it went to Porcello and Scherzer, and I couldn't believe it. Lester should have won the Cy Young that year.
Hey, you had Arrieta in 15.
That was awesome.
And he deserved it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you know, that's the pitching. Quick thing about like Big Ten baseball. Like, if you guys follow Big Ten baseball, Illinois is batting 300 as a team.
They have one of the best batting averages in the nation.
And they're horrible because
they stink. They're below 500.
Because their pitching is just pathetic. If you look at the top 4 teams in the Big Ten, They also have the top 4 ERAs that I researched.
Yeah.
I mean, ERA, you cannot overstate its importance.
For
That's
sure.
why the 2005 White Sox, I mean, they had, you had Burley, Sweaty Freddie, John Garland. They all, in the ALCS, they each threw a complete game to win. They beat the Angels 4-1. Each and every single one of them threw a complete game. Pitching is the key in baseball.
Did I ever tell you my uncle, who's a Sox fan, was at the one playoff game that they lost in
He was at the
2005?
Angels one?
Yeah.
My dad was at the next game when Brzezinski was a sleazebag and got on first base. Do you know that story?
No.
It was a drop third strike. It was 1-1. Angels caught the ball, but AJ convinced the ump that it was a drop third strike, and he ran to first base. So it extended the inning in the bottom of the 9th. And then they scored and won, and the rest is history.
Brzezinski, man, Cubs fans, especially with Michael Barrett.
Oh, dude,
that's
that's such a good fight. I love that.
It's a great fight.
Because it's like you got this punk with frosted tips, and AJ Brzezinski just like
Against Michael Barrett, the stereotypical.
Didn't Barrett
big
kick
white
his?
guy.
Didn't Barrett like kick his butt?
I don't know, dude. I think Michael Barrett socked him.
That's what I think too. That was before my time. I was only 6, so it's like I wasn't a fan back then, but I love hearing about that.
I remember I had a substitute teacher that was pretty famous in my elementary school, and her last name was Barrett. She's like, my favorite baseball player is Michael Barrett. And whenever she came into our classes, she showed us the clip, and all the parents are like, why are you showing these little kids a video of baseball players
of violence?
fighting?
It's entertaining. I mean, you'll never forget that.
Just real quick before we wrap up, you were talking over break about the Yankees.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise, probably? Stanton stinks.
Okay, right now it's a surprise, but in hindsight, the source of the problem is not a surprise. I mean, when you have a bunch of long ball hitters that don't have high batting averages, I mean, you can't rely on home runs. And the pitching staff, I don't know, is Cole's living up to the hype. I mean, his ERA is 1.82 right now. But, I'm looking at the scores right now. It's 7-3, 5-4, 8-2, 6-3. I know what the problem is. Maybe it's the relief pitching, but the Yankees. I mean, this is why the Yankees are like the best franchise ever. They say, this is their worst start since 1997. That 1997 team won 96 games. I mean, they haven't had a losing season in a quarter of a century.
Giancarlo Stanton's hitting 158.
Dude, he's the most overrated player in baseball.
He is. He can hit the ball far.
I mean, he had one season where he had 58 home runs, and everybody.
I think he won the MVP.
He did win the MVP. He should have got 60.
His best batting average ever. 288, 2019. He played 18 games. Never mind. 281, 2017 with Miami.
When he won the MVP?
That's when he had 59 home runs. How many? 130. Dude, that's an insane season.
How many games?
159. No, in 2019 he only played 18 games.
If he would have got 62 home runs that year, I'd say he's the home run king.
Yeah.
I'd give it to him.
Yeah.
But that's
for sure.
Like,
as long as you don't, because Bonds doesn't have
the
it.
reason why I don't give Babe Ruth as much credit as maybe I should is because there was no relief pitchers really back then.
See,
they threw a bunch of meatballs.
I say Babe Ruth sees a curveball in today's game and he craps his pants.
Dude, Babe Ruth is like just an unathletic, just stocky guy. Like, he would not survive in today's league.
I agree. It's a weird league, man, with all these pitching mechanics and what's cheating, what's not cheating. Trevor Bauer would be fun to talk to about that.
That's the thing with athletics. I mean,
by the way,
it always gets better. I mean, we just improve as like a human race athletically. I mean, if you compared, like, put up the 1948 Rams against the 2019 Patriots.
Is there a weirder guy in sports than Trevor Bauer? Probably not.
Manny Ramirez.
I mean, right now.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
All right. Trevor
Paul
Bauer
Pierce is weird.
Paul Pierce?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's in color, so. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Carson, thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Illini Drive.